Before you watch Kaiju number 8, here's what you need to know before jumping into one of the most talked about modern shonen anime, and why it's way more underrated than people think. In this episode of Before You Watch, we will talk about Kaiju number 8 and rate it at the end of the video on a scale of 1 to 10. But before we get into fighting massive kaijus, how about you fight the algorithm with me instead and make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. It helps the channel grow as much as these giant monsters. Now let's get right into the video. Kaiju number 8 takes place in Japan that gets attacked by giant monsters called kaiju on a regular basis. Cities get wrecked, buildings collapse, and humanity's main line of defense is a military organization called the Defense Force, whose entire job is to hunt down and exterminate these creatures. On the surface, yeah, it sounds very familiar to another kind of anime. I mean, you got giant monsters, military squads, destruction, and knowing that, a lot of people compared it to Attack on Titan at first glance. But as you get deeper into it, the similarities start to dim. Plus, as much as I love Attack on Titan, it was not the first story in existence to cover a story about humans fighting monsters and the main character turns out to be a monster itself. So yeah, but nevertheless, being compared to such an anime is a compliment in my book, if you ask me. But the biggest difference between these two animes show up immediately in the main character. Now, the main character is Kafka Hibino, and he isn't a teenage prodigy, he doesn't give off the vibes of the chosen one, and he isn't secretly the strongest recruit waiting to be discovered. No, he's a 30-year-old bum cleanup worker whose job is literally scrubbing monster remains off of streets after the defense force kills them. While everyone else chased dreams of joining the defense force, Kafka failed the entrance exam for years over and over again until he basically accepted that his chance was gone. That alone already makes Kaiju number 8 feel different from most shonen, because this isn't a story about starting from zero and rising to greatness. It's a story about feeling left behind, which did remind me of another great anime called Real Life with a similar premise. Anyways, Kafka watches his childhood friend Mina become a famous defense force captain, the exact dream he couldn't reach. He lives with regret, insecurity, and the quiet fear that his life path is already decided. And if you're not 15 anymore, that feeling hits way harder than the usual anime speech about never giving up. And then the story flips. Kafka accidentally gains the ability to transform into a humanoid kaiju called Kaiju number 8, giving him monstrous strength, speed, and regeneration. The switch up and irony is perfect because the man who failed to become a monster hunter became a monster himself. And from there, the core conflict is locked in place. Kafka wants to join the defense force and fight besides humans while secretly being the very thing they hunt. The dual identity angle is one of the show's biggest strengths. It creates constant tension without complicated politics surrounding it or layered plots, and every mission carries the same simple stakes. If they discover him, he's executed. But if he holds back, people may die. There's always pressure on both sides. Now, in my opinion, the anime covers 4 things in a great way. Number 1 being the protagonist himself. Kafka is honestly one of the most refreshing shonen leads in years. He's older, insecure, awkward, and physically past his prime, painfully aware he wasted time. He jokes to hide anxiety, he panics under pressure, and he isn't naturally cool nor confident. He feels like a normal adult thrown into a hero role instead of someone born for it. And because of that, his determination feels real instead of some chosen one fantasy. When he says he still wants to try again at age of 32, it doesn't sound like a cliche motivational line. It sounds like someone refusing to accept that life already passed them by. The series quietly says something rare for battle anime. Dreams don't expire just because you got older. The second thing it got great is the tone balance, because Kaiju no 8 mixes comedy and action extremely well. Kafka's monster form creates absurd situations, such as hiding his identity, misunderstanding his own strength, and trying to act normal while very much so not being normal. But the moment the fights start, the tone of the anime snaps into serious, high-stakes combat instantly, and the anime knows when to slow down and appreciate the stakes and take itself seriously when needed almost perfectly. That switch keeps the series from feeling one-note or overly heavy, but also from having too much humor and absurdities. The third thing this anime does great is the world building. Now, one thing I really appreciate about this anime is that I don't have to do a case study to understand the world in this anime, because the defense force system is easy to understand, from ranks to weapons and kaiju threat levels. They also have the combat suits powered by kaiju biology, which are explained quickly without drowning viewers in lore dumps. You always know what characters can do, and you learn simply by watching what their limits are and what's at risk in a fight, without being bombarded with exposition, which is something I really have an issue with in modern anime. Now, the fourth thing this anime does well is production quality. The anime is produced by Production IG, with creature design support from Studio Khara. Yes, the Evangelion studio. And you can see that influence immediately. The kaiju feel biological, heavy, and textured instead of being some smooth blob cartoon monsters. Impacts feel dense, and explosions have a weight to them. And Kafka's transformation also stands out. It looks incredible every single time it happens. And the animation is honestly very good. It's not too incredible, but it's not too bad. Perfectly in the middle. Now, the parts people criticize about this anime being that the side characters feel underdeveloped early, and that's fair. But season 1 gives most emotional focus to Kafka's arc. Some viewers wanted deeper backstories or growth sooner, and the show clearly sets them up for long-term development, but early episodes can feel like groundwork for the side characters. The second complaint people have had is that it has familiar structure. And yeah, the premise echoes throughout multiple series. You have military squads versus monsters, secret power inside protagonists, training exams, and rank systems. None of that is new. If someone wants completely original structures, this anime won't reinvent the genre for them. The way this anime is original is in perspectives rather than concepts, such as this anime having an older lead, workplace regret themes, and a monster identity conflict. But in its structure, it still follows recognizable battle anime beats. And the third complaint is the power escalation speed. Kafka becomes extremely strong very quickly compared to others. Once transformed, he often outclasses fellow recruits. Some viewers feel this reduces tension because he can dominate fights early. The anime counters this with the secrecy risk of people finding out he's a kaiju, which makes every battle moment intense, rather than having some physical struggles. But if you prefer slow power growth progression, the jump in power can feel fast. So if your favorite part of shonen is watching characters climb step by step, this series moves quicker than that. Now, is Kaiju No. 8 actually underrated? Honestly, yeah, because many viewers went in expecting pure dark kaiju horror or non-stop elite squad action, and this anime is not that, which caused people to undervalue what this anime is really doing. But if you meet the anime on its own terms, it's one of the more emotionally mature shonen in recent years. It speaks directly to the people who feel late in life, people who think they missed their moment and wasted their lives, and people trying again after failure. And that theme alone makes it stand out in a genre dominated by teenage boys being the chosen ones, which is almost every other anime nowadays. So this feels fresh. So, should you watch Kaiju No. 8? If you want a different kind of shonen protagonist, strong action with badass monster design, mob psycho and One Punch Man like humor, and a story about chasing dreams after failure, then yes, Kaiju No. 8 is absolutely worth watching. And honestly, it deserves more credit than it gets. Now, as promised, I will rank this anime from 1 to 10 on how much I think it is worth watching. And Kaiju No. 8 gets a strong 8 out of 10 from me. If this helped you decide, I'm glad I could help finding your next binge watching session. Oh, and Godzilla sounds like an elephant.